All right, well, as long as we're going to be running all over the universe looking for Sarens so we can save the galaxy, might as well make the galaxy a place worth saving, right? It's not a very nice place to live right now. Everywhere we go, somebody's trying to kill us. We've been putting out a lot of fires as we go along, and that's a good thing. Kind of makes me appreciate the police who must deal with this crap on a daily basis. Bad guys doing bad shit because they're, what, compelled to? They have to? What is it, like the mobster's motto or something? Must be an asshole daily or something? Can't go to sleep at night unless you victimized somebody. The more innocent the victim, the better. It's just, wow. I can't really wrap my mind around it. Good thing we get to play Shepard, who is not bound by the laws that are designed to protect the monsters and condemn the innocents and the victims. We're actually able to do to some of these pieces of crap what they have coming. I have a relatively short list of those where I feel they go beyond what they do and they venture more into what they are. And that's murderers, right? Serial killers, whatever. Slavers / kidnappers. Rapists / child molesters. I consider child molesting even worse because it involves children. Although that's not to belittle what effect that horrible crime has on its victims, whether it be men, women, whatever. But when it involves children, it just seems to be just even worse, if that's possible. And traitors. You know, that's a pretty short list. But that I believe those people that do that are so that just completely disregard anyone else's right to life whatsoever, is they forfeit their right to life. And taking them out is similar to taking a virus or a cancer out of a body. You know, you send in the chemo, you send in the penicillin, you don't, there's no half-stepping here, or else that's going to spread and it's going to foster and it's going to affect the rest of the body. It's really just that simple analogy, and it's really just basic truth. Not liking it doesn't make it less so. But anyway, the law doesn't see fit because the law can't make any money. If you deal with criminals the way you need to, the law can't make any money off of it. They can charge you $10,000 a day to house a prisoner that only costs $100. That only actually their out of pocket is only $100. So that's a lot of profit to be made for each head that you've got, you know, a bunk for in your prison. So if you're dealing with criminals as you need to deal with them, there is no room in prisons. You know, if you find someone stealing, make them pay back double what they stole. If they can't afford to, then you put them in servitude to the person they stole from, so they can work it off based on a fair wage, right? And you know what? That does two things. That one lets that person pay back their debt to that person. They owe no debt to society. They haven't done shit to society. They did something to that citizen, though. That's who they owe something to. But guess what? The government can't make any money off of that. So that's not acceptable, quote-unquote, criminology, right? And but if you've got someone who's you know, murdered, is willing to kidnap and enslave and get into sex trafficking and slave trafficking and stuff like human trafficking or whatever, in Mass Effect's case, alien trafficking and human trafficking, whatever, and that type of stuff, then you know, you've crossed the line. You've gone beyond something that you can pay back. You forfeited your right to life. You become a danger, you become a cancer to the society you live in, you take that out. But once again, we can justify giving big fat prison sentences and keeping these people locked up forever. And then we can siphon billions more from the citizens when we come up with criminology experts to study their minds and figure out why they do what they do, so we can eventually, quote unquote, come up with a solution for it and fix these criminals. Okay, sorry, man doesn't have that kind of power. Sorry, there's certain, you know, dealing with the soul and the spirit. No, sorry. Man isn't going to be fixing any of that. Somebody gets a cut, you can sew them up with needles. Somebody has a personal issue that you can relate to, you can help them along, and you can pass along maybe something that's helped you. But when you're talking about a sickness that qualifies someone as being a monster, that's not something that's fixed. That's something that's dealt with. Let the afterlife deal with fallout from all that. But yeah, you need to get that crap out of your society. Anyway, just simple thought. Like I say, none of that logic allows the powers that be to make any money off of it. So, and how did I get off in all this? Anyway, and Mass Effect brings up this type of stuff. They come up with these moral issues where you're allowed to either do justice or be politically correct. It seems like where the line is drawn. And sometimes I think BioWare leans towards the political correct side in a lot of ways. And you know what? Honestly, as unbiased as they would like to be, the writers of any book or any video game or any movie are going to show you they're biased. It's going to bleed through. It's going to come across. They're going to be sympathetic to things that you might be pretty, you might have some animosity towards and stuff, you know? Things that I may feel strongly about one way, a writer maybe feel really strongly about another way, and it's going to come across. Like sometimes you'll be given 2 choices and they're both wrong regarding something based on your opinion or based on your judgment or based on your view. You know what I'm saying? And so I see that sometimes, but even that in and of itself is genius because it makes me think. And now, you know, being shepherd, you get to be put in the position of the authority. Like, you know, you are essentially the law. Now, you're kind of above the law as a specter, but still, you know, you have this moral obligation to yourself, if nothing else, to make decisions that you feel would be fitting for any circumstance or whatever. And you're faced with circumstances that the average person is not going to have to confront. We're not going to have to deal with this type of shit on a daily basis. Maybe certain law enforcement agencies might have to, and probably not daily. Well, maybe so. Maybe so. I don't know. I guess it depends. But, no, I'm almost dead. I need to get out of here. Why am I just standing out here in the open? See, this is just me being stupid. And that's the result. Look at that. Now I'm probably going to bleed out. This is why, especially on Insanity difficulty, the medical interface mods, and I forget what they're called once you get into rank 7, 8, 9, 10. But early on, rank 4, 5, 6, whatever, they're called medical interface, and they allow you health regen. Well, the ranks that I'm in right now also allow for some toxin resistance, which is actually going to come in handy here shortly on some missions we're going to be doing in the not too distant future. But notice my health is going back up, right? And the reason I didn't bleed out and die right there is because I had medical interface. That is, I should have died. Once your heart starts thumping, you've got a few seconds to live, and if you can't hit a metagel, you're going to die, unless you have some kind of health regen. I believe, what is it, soldiers? Maybe there's more than just soldiers. Maybe there's a couple classes that get this. I know adepts don't, and I don't believe infiltrators do either. It may just be soldiers, but you get some health regen in, maybe it's assault training?
I feel better now. Patching you up.
I don't know. But anyway, I believe there's, oh, good job, Yara. Nice. I believe there's some health regen that you have you just naturally built in, and you put medical interface on top of that, you're talking your health going, well, maybe not going back up almost as fast as it goes down, but become more like a Krogan, you know? And that is, in and of itself, an entirely unique build, and notice how the equipment you use plays into your strength. Your strength as a soldier is to have, you know, to have some tankiness, right? As well as being able to use just about every weapon that there is. Oh, come on, just die. Nice, nice.
Go, go, go!
Now, in this case, as an adept already being kind of squishy, it's nice to be able to get down to the brink of death and not, at least not bleed out. That's kind of nice. And you'll find when you get the really high rank of that particular mod, and throw it in some armor that has some really nice shield, like say some nice Colossus armor, or Titan, or Mantis, or whatever, where you have some decent shields and stuff like that, some biotic protection and what have you. You can take a hit or two. I don't think you're ever really going to be a tank as an adept, but you can at least, you know, get in there and go toe to toe with some of your enemies. Up until now, it's been pretty much just try not to get hit. That's basically it.
You must die!
Yeah, and I will die if you shoot me in the face. I hate snipers. I'm thinking I was about 2 inches away from death right there, as a matter of fact. I will take 1,000 credits. Thank you very much.
Commander.
Yeah, once we go to Pharos, we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be dealing with a lot of poison, a lot of toxin, and having some resistance to that, and then having some health regen also will come in real handy. So I'll have everybody equipped with that. And this will be pretty much my crew. As usual, Liara and Tally. Be dealing with some Geth also. Lots of Geth. Lots of Geth to come. In fact, we're really going to be getting into... We're going to be knee-deep in Geth for a while. Alright, so let's see what's going on here.
Stay back. I've got no grief with you. All I want is this bastard.
Please! He's a madman! Mr. Tooms, you're insane! You need help!
It's Corporal! Corporal Tooms! You don't get to lie! Not today! Today it all comes out!
What are you talking about? Why do you want to kill this man?
Want? What I want is my life back. I want to go to sleep without screaming in my dreams. I want the people who sent me to Aku's brought to justice.
Can't you see that Tooms is crazy? Shoot him!
Makes a scientist a murderer.
But if I can't get that, I'll have to settle for killing the men who took my life away.
What did the doctor do to you, Corporal?
We were on Aku's. When the Thresher Maws hit, my entire unit was wiped out. The Thresher Maws, the scientists were studying them. They let them hit our unit just to watch. I woke up in a holding cell. The scientists were delighted I'd survived. Now they had someone to run tests on.
Murder? Kidnapping? Okay.
You're killing them because they killed your unit.
You can't believe Tooms. He doesn't have any proof. I demand a fair trial.
I'm getting one right
Ever
here.
had Thresher Maw acid in your veins? I have. They wanted to see what it would do. They treated me like a lab animal. I only escaped because somebody destroyed Cerberus, their big organization. This is justice. This man deserves to die. So, are you going to kill me or not?
Corporal, if you kill him, you're a criminal. But I'm a Spectre. Nobody will question me.
You can't kill me. You don't know who you're dealing with.
One
He
bit.
killed my whole unit. I have to take him down myself. It's the last thing I have to do.
No. The last thing you have to do is keep going to show these bastards who won.
It's really over?
Yeah, man.
Maybe the screaming will stop now. I don't know.
Those bastards can't hurt you anymore. Joker, tell the 5th Fleet we need a ship for pickup.
Aye, aye, Commander.
There we go. That's justice. Plain and simple. Guy was guilty of kidnapping, committing atrocities, murder, standing by and not warning that team. Well, let them get killed so they can watch in the name of science. Shut up. All right. I want to head over here and show you guys something in a second. Let's go ahead and look and see what goodies we picked up. Yeah, I want an upgrade to my high explosive. That would be nice. Yeah, we don't have anything near as good as what she's got already. Nemesis is really some really good buff. Cooldown times and stuff like that. I want a lot of things right now. A few more points in the pistol. Got to get lift and singularity up. I'm going to guess we're going to level roughly about 25 more times, give or take. So I should have enough points for all that by the time we end all this. Oh, here we go. This is what I want to show you guys. Over here in the southwest corner of Ontaram, the Shifty Looking Cow. This might be one of my favorite characters in the game. this dude. There's a story behind this guy. Apparently one of the writers said when they came up with this cow with the little arms, it says those arms look really, really grabby. I could never trust a cow like this, or I could never trust anything with those little grabby arms, right? So they came up with the Shifty Looking Cow, and basically he's like just chill over there, right? But as soon as you turn your back, well, let me see if I can. It almost looks like he's grinning a little bit too. When you turn your back on him, what he'll do is he'll there we go. He'll start stealing your credits. Isn't that awesome? The Shifty Looking Cow stealing your credits and grinning at you while he's doing it. There we go. But it's only when you turn your back. Man, I love this guy. It's just an Easter egg in here. It's one of my favorites. I mean, what's better than the Shifty Looking Cow? All right, there he goes. He's starting to steal more credits now. Anyway, had to include him, man. Or her, whatever. The cow is awesome. All right, let's get back to the Normandy.
I reviewed your report on the situation, Commander. It's unfortunate Dr. Wayne ended up dead, but based on your report, your actions were understandable. Corporal Tooms seems to have found some closure. Hopefully with therapy, he'll have a normal life again someday. Thank you again for your assistance, Commander. Fifth Fleet out.
And that really is the only kind of closure when someone's committed these kinds of atrocities. When someone's trespassed on your life in that way. I would rather have let him take the shot in a sense, but you know, understanding that there are some legal bounds and that he is essentially justified if he doesn't actually have to pull the trigger there. And that maybe he can just simply get the help that he needs, because he's the victim here. He's not the criminal. If he'd have pulled that trigger, he still wasn't the criminal, but the law might have said otherwise. Once again, the law designed to protect the monsters and victimize or condemn the innocent. And so, yeah, I'm not down with that at all. So we're able to do a good thing, get rid of some trash, and get this guy some closure. And hopefully he can go on and recover to the point where he can at least be semi-normal later. Okay, now this is that ship with the doctor, that one scientist that Garrus was looking for. I believe this is it. We actually have a little fight on our hands coming up. But I promised him I'd bring him along, so... You're right. Test subjects. Well, we know we're in the right place, right? Speaks for itself. Apparently his experiments went beyond just harvesting organs. Maybe these are a result of him trying to find some new way to harvest more organs. Because, you know, greed doesn't really have any limits, right? Wow, took out Garrus. Damn. I think we're dealing with toxin here, actually.
Don't have a lock. I've lost contact.
I owe you one.
Patching you up.
There we go. Yeah, he's still poisoned. I believe that's why he's flashing yellow.
I can't shot.
Now, when we get the high rank armors where we can get an extra mod slot, then it's pretty much just standard procedure for me to throw a medical interface in there, whatever, and then so everyone can get that health regen active. If they're a soldier already, well then fine. It's just even better, right? Just more of a good thing. Get off me. And then with the other slot, there are some mods that fit certain ones better. Like, oh, I think mine is it kinetic buffer or something? I forget, but it's one that it increases your shields and your cooldown, and it's basically like having an upgrade to your biotic amp. It allows your abilities to cool down a little faster, which is always a good thing for me. When you get the high-ranking ones, I think it's damn near 20% extra cooldown, and on top of your amp, that's just beautiful. Well, how do you get over there? I don't remember if there's any goodies in here or not. Always looking for loot. We got one more enemy here. See that? I don't think these things are booby-trapped, but you know what? I learned my lesson from that one other carrier. That was, not cool. Where is he? Is he inside the box? I wonder if he's on the roof. If he's out in space. He's supposed to be right there somewhere. Maybe he's under the floor or something. I don't know. Whatever. If he's not going to bother me, I won't bother him. If I can still complete my quest, then he can just do his thing, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you for saving me from those things.
Commander, that's him. That's Dr. Saleon.
What? My name is Hart. Dr. Hart. Please, get me out of here.
Are you sure it's him?
Positive. There's no escape this time, Doctor. I'd harvest your organs first, but we don't have the time.
You're crazy. He's crazy. Please, don't let him do this to me.
You did it to yourself.
Put him out of his misery so we can get going.
Gladly. Your days of butchering are over, Doctor.
No! Please! Please!
That was satisfying.
Good. Remember that feeling. That's how it should be.
I will, Commander. Well, I guess we're done here.
Nice. So he just had this whole operation going. Well, shut that down. I'm sure there's plenty more like this. That's the thing, is you find one of these monsters and you imagine how many more there could be, and then multiply that by the atrocities they're committing, and that's just, it's like, damn. You know, seriously. I think people who say that they still have some kind of faith in humanity have never bothered to actually take a realistic look at humanity. It's not very humane. For the most part. Like I say, there's individual exceptions, but overall, as a whole,
Now I'm ready.
leaves a lot to be desired. Alright, so I guess this is the justice episode. We're running around exacting all this justice on the bad guys. That's cool. Like I say, why bother saving a galaxy if it's not worth living in once you do save it? Might as well do some good while we're here. Alright, let's go talk to Garrus about this now. Make sure he's alright. Make sure he's doing good.
Commander,
Something bothering you?
It's Saren. I'm starting to wonder whether we'll ever find him. He's always one step ahead of us, and he's got those damn Geth.
We're getting close, Garrus. We'll find him.
I wish I had your confidence. I just can't stand the thought of him getting away with everything he's done. I know you're doing everything you can, and if anyone can catch him, it's you, but if there's anything else I can do to help, anything, just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it.
I understand your concern, but we will find him. Just make sure you're ready to go when we do.
Yes, ma'am. You can count on me. Thanks for hearing me out. I appreciate it. Can I ask you something, Commander?
What is it?
Are you worried that the Council might be protecting Saren? I mean, they were really dragging their heels before. What if we find him, bring him back to the Citadel, and they refuse to act?
I get the feeling this isn't a question. Speak your mind, Garrus.
Well, maybe we shouldn't give them the chance, Commander. In my opinion, Saren's too dangerous to be kept alive. Too much could happen. He could escape, or the Council might let him go. If we find him, when we find him, I say we make sure we stop him permanently.
I'm glad you see it that way. I never had any intention of capturing that bastard. When I see him, he dies.
Good. The Council won't like it, but they can't stop you either. You see, this is why I want to be a Spectre. You never have to worry about bureaucratic idiots making a mess of everything.
Just make sure you're ready when it happens.
Yes, ma'am.
Garrus is awesome. He's put that unpleasantness behind him and now has his eyes on what's important.
Shepard,
So you'd rather be a merc than help your people?
I'm a fighter. It's what I do.
Aren't you at all worried about what will happen to the Krogan?
What the hell do you want me to do about it, Shepard? I'm tired of sticking my ass on the line and getting nothing for it.
So you're just giving up on your people?
I gave up on fighting for a lost cause. I'm not like you, Shepard. I'm no hero. Bottom line, killing for credits simplifies things.
Exactly. That's why I hired you.
And that's why I joined, so I wouldn't have to deal with them. But there's a lot of Krogan mercs out there. I'm always running into them. Half the time I'm being paid to kill them. But that's just part of the job. You don't get to pick who your enemies are.
How long have you been a merc?
Long enough. I took my first contract right after I left my home system. It's good work if it doesn't kill you.
I get the feeling you enjoy your work.
Sure. You get to see the galaxy on someone else's credits, and most days end with a good fight. I've tried more organized fighting, private armies and such, but it gets too messy. I fight best on my own, or in very small groups. I don't like people relying on me, and I bloody well don't like relying on them.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Rex is hardcore, man. Simple. Simple and honest. Brutal, maybe, but simple and honest.
It feels like we're getting near the end, doesn't it, Shepard? With Saren, I mean.
It won't be much longer. One way or another, it'll all be over soon.
You'll find the conduit before he does. I know you will. You have to. And after this is all over, when my pilgrimage ends and I go back to my own people, I'll be proud to say I was a part of it.
We couldn't have done this without you, Tali.
You've been good to me. A lot of people treat Quarians like second-class citizens. They just want us to go back to our fleet and disappear. But you've treated me just like everyone else on your crew. Like an equal. That means a lot, and it says something about you. Whatever happens, I just want to say thank you for that.
I'm gonna miss you when you go back to your own people, Tali.
That won't happen for a while yet. I'll be right here anytime you need me.
I should go.
See you later.
What do you mean an equal, Tally? You're one of my faves. Tally's awesome. Alright. What else is in store for us? Anything else Admiral Hackett needs us to do? Seems like literally everywhere we go, he's got something. Some fire to put out, right? And we haven't even been over here yet. Something else opens up here later, but you know what? Let's just go check it out.
Message coming in, Commander. Big surprise, the Alliance needs you again.
Shepard, this is Admiral Hackett with Alliance Command. We've got a mission for you. An Alliance officer named Major Kyle has set up a small compound in the Hulking Eta cluster. He's attracted a number of followers, mostly biotics. He's become an outspoken critic of the Alliance, and we believe he's mentally unstable. This could be trouble, Shepard.
What kind of proof do you have that the Major is dangerous?
3 days ago, we sent 2 Alliance representatives to meet with him at his compound. They've disappeared. We believe Kyle and his followers killed them. That compound is a cult, Shepard. They call him Father Kyle now. He set himself up as some kind of religious leader.
You said his followers were biotics?
Yes. Major Kyle never showed any biotic tendencies himself, though. I think he's just latched onto a group he identifies with. Many biotics feel marginalized or ostracized by society. Kyle probably sees them as victims who need his protection, and they see him as someone who will fight for them. Unfortunately, he's convinced them that the Alliance is somehow responsible for all their problems. We can't let him go on like this.
What were those Alliance representatives going to talk to Major Kyle about?
They wanted to bring him back to an Alliance facility for treatment. Major Kyle served us faithfully for many years. We weren't going to abandon him. Given his state of mind, however, he probably saw them as a threat. We're almost certain he had his followers killed him.
What else can you tell me about Major Kyle?
He used to be a model soldier, but something happened to him at Torfin. Too many Alliance soldiers died under his command. Couldn't cope with the guilt. His psych evaluations showed he couldn't handle the stress of command anymore. He was given an honorable discharge in early retirement. We'd hoped he would get better in time, but we underestimated how far gone he was. Now it looks like it's too late.
How permanent a solution are you looking for?
We don't want this to turn into a massacre, Commander. Kyle is dangerous. I trust you to use your judgment. Hack it out.
Now, to be the advocate against this Kyle guy, I can say that it is a common, probably more common than it should be. It's an error that soldiers, when they experience the atrocities that can be committed in war, might errantly lean towards blaming the country they're fighting for having gotten them into that predicament, rather than blame the person committing those atrocities on the other side of the fence, the ones they're actually fighting against, right? Now, if your country is the aggressor, if your country is trying to do the bad deed, right, and you're fighting an innocent society, right, to just take their shit or something like that, okay, that puts you on the criminal side of that, okay? But if you are the country defending yourself, defending freedom, liberty, whatever, okay, and you go to war, it is not your country's fault being in a position of having to defend itself against an aggressor, against a monster, right? It's the aggressor's fault for whatever atrocities are committed after that, right? Because they are the ones that essentially instigated the conflict. Okay, so I can see blaming the Alliance, right, for whatever may have happened at Torfin, which Torfin, I think, comes into play if you pick another history. I think if you pick the Lone Survivor, I believe it's Torfin. I picked the War Heroes, so it had to do with another thing, and then there's Ruthless. Maybe Ruthless is Torfin. I don't really remember. Anyway, but it was a thing where shit went bad, and basically one person got out alive, and everyone else died along the way, type of thing. You can have a personal background that relates to that as Shepard. Right, so the stress of combat got to him and whatever, right? So maybe he's unbalanced, right, as far as that goes. But in his defense, I have something to say also.
This is a private sanctuary. Outsiders are not welcome here.
I need to talk to the man in charge. It's important.
Father Kyle wants nothing more to do with the Alliance.
He shouldn't have killed those investigators. This problem isn't gonna go away.
We won't let you take Father Kyle away. He protects us. We need him.
He is leading you to your deaths. If you fight the Alliance, you'll all get slaughtered. I'm your last chance. Let me talk to him or people start dying.
Wait. Father Kyle will speak with you. Head to the building at the far end of the compound. He'll meet you there.
Okay, now, want to make a point here is that, all right, if these are all biotics, we can assume that some, if not all, would be L2 biotics, all right? Especially if they're sympathizing with Father Kyle and vice versa. Is they are basically last year's news. They've been somewhat swept under the rug. Some of them are still active duty, but they're all definitely considered a military asset. But they're kind of broken biotics. Okay, now that you're getting into L3s and you're getting into the more advanced biotics where there's fewer side effects, they're more functional, they're more powerful, and so on and so forth. These L2s are kind of getting swept under the rug. We've already dealt with this once, where we saw with the Alliance and the establishment and the government and whatever, when it comes to making reparations to help these biotics function and get by until they either die or whatever, they weren't even willing to do that. They're essentially an inconvenience to be swept under the rug to make way for the new biotics that are much better. And it's simply just a military asset thing. And so that's totally the fault of the military establishment. Is they create these biotics here and then sweep them under the rug when the new wave, the better version of the biotics comes through, and these people are just considered basically collateral. Their humanity is not brought in as a factor, and that's where these resentments would come from. And so, of course, now that they've gone a little overboard and have gone to some religious mentality or something, it's us against the world or whatever, I'll tell you what, this is Father Kyle's house, this right here. Okay, those Alliance people trespassed here to do something. They've already retired Father Kyle and sent him away because he's become outspoken against the Alliance for good reason. All right, I'm sorry to say that, but for good reason. They take issue with that, and so they want to come and do some damage mitigation or something like that, and send some representatives or whatever to take him away, possibly kidnap him, forcefully remove him. The biotics have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to defend their property. They have a right to defend Father Kyle. He has a right to defend himself. They weren't invited here. They came here against these biotics' will, all right? And they had a right to do that. And so I'm sorry, I got to side with them on that. Is the Alliance military representatives there were out of line. And because Father Kyle is offending their politics, he's not following their diplomacy or whatever. He's not obligated to. They retired him. They sent him off with his discharge and whatever. And now he's thinking back on his time, and sure enough, his perception may be bent a little bit by his own experience on Torrefin, being a rather, the shock value there is pretty high. Okay, I mean, I get it. He witnessed some atrocities, and he was responsible for the death, and maybe he's trying to make reparations for that. And so he thinks he's probably latching on to the first people that he can help. And being a military man himself, he'd be familiar with the plight of the L2s, maybe even the old L1 biotics, assuming any of them are still around or whatever, right? But he can relate to their plight, and he can sympathize with them, and they in turn are looking for anyone to be concerned for their interests and their welfare, considering they've been basically cast off by the very military establishment that created them. Okay, so looking at both sides of that, I would say Father Kyle has the right of it here. So I do not consider this murder. I consider this essentially self-defense. You're allowed to defend your property and your person and your people, your family. If he considers these biotics family and he's defending them in his own mind, which he is legally by right, I got to side with him on that. Sure enough, Shepard is Alliance and all that, but that doesn't mean everyone in the Alliance is a good guy or that their policies are just shining and faultless. Sorry, it's just not the way it is. So that's anyway. That's want to let you guys know how I view this and how I deal with Father Kyle a little differently than I might otherwise some murderers or common thugs. This is a different thing.
I am Major Kyle. I know why you've come. We have no quarrel with you. Why can't you just leave us alone?
What happened to those other Alliance officers? The ones who came before me?
They wanted to take me away from here. They wanted me to abandon this place, turn my back on my family. They spoke blasphemy. I did what I could to make their end quick and painless. I had no other choice. It was necessary to protect my children. Only I can keep them safe.
The Alliance sent me to bring you in, Major. Can't you see this has gotten out of hand? Don't you understand you are endangering your followers?
I respect that you have come under a banner of peace, but I cannot do as you ask. If you take away their father, my children will be helpless.
If you don't come with me, all your followers will end up dead. What kind of father lets his children die?
No, this was my fault. My children are innocent, pure. Please, I never meant for this to happen. I'm sorry.
Come with me, Major. It's over.
Wait, if my children see you taking me away, they won't understand. They will attack and you will be forced to kill them all. You have shown me the error of my ways, Commander. Now you must give me time to explain it to them. It is the only way they will understand. Please, give me 1 hour. After that, I will meet the Alliance authorities at the gates of my compound and surrender without violence. I give you my word.
Sure.
I'm gonna trust you. If you betray that trust, you and all your children will suffer.
I will not betray you, Commander. Thank you for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have an Alliance command patrol pick Major Kyle up. I just hope you know what you're doing, Shepard.
Let me dispatch the ship to take him into custody. Okay. He's obviously somewhat unstable. I mean, he's totally playing into and catering to that whole these biotics need of a father figure type thing, and it's gotten weird. Okay, I get that, but aside from that, he's pretty much blameless. They haven't done any actual wrong here. Say those Alliance representatives were trespassing. That's plain and simple, and attempting to take him away, kidnap him, probably forcibly, or with a lot of heavy-handed persuasion, right? And that's on them. Now, if Father Kyle doesn't come along like he promised in an hour or whatever, then, well, they were going to get slaughtered anyway. That's just how it was going to end. But at least here he has a chance. So it's a win-win, either way. There you have it. And man, I love this. Like, these are these options to think things through and balance things out and honestly stop and even think. Sometimes even pause the game and stop and think, how weighing both sides of an argument to see what you might do, and so that's just awesome.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Admiral Hackett here, Commander. Your helmsman just forwarded your report on Major Kyle. We sent in a team as you instructed. Kyle's followers have disbanded, and the Major surrendered to us without incident. We'll make sure he gets the help he needs. To be honest, Shepard, I thought this thing was going to end in a bloodbath. I don't know how you did it, but you saved a lot of lives. Congratulations.
Did it with good judgment, at least in that case. All right. Well, nothing else here for right now. I will do a sweep of all these. I won't drag you guys through the mud, coming back to look at all this. But once we're done, essentially, when we're getting to the point where we're right at hot on Saren's trail and we're about to end it all, right, and finish this, then I will come back through and double check all these solar systems here and see if there's any little things that I missed. Maybe a couple little side quest things and stuff that can really come back and make an impact on the story later,
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Imagine that.
Normandy, this is Alliance Command. We're detecting your presence in the Attican Beta Cluster. One of our surveillance drones was gathering intel on Geth activities in the region when it was spotted and shot down. You need to go groundside and recover the drone's data module before the Geth find it.
At some point, Admiral Hackett needs to realize that we do have other things to do. At some point, right? But give them minutes, they take a mile. If you want to subscribe, click that button up top. If you want to catch the rest of this Let's Play up to this point, you can click that image in the middle. It should send you straight to the playlist. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you hanging out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.